It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond. Welcome to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. Time to meet Team 270. Darian Harris, 5-year MSU linebacker, co-captain of the 2015 Big Ten champions, graduate student, aspiring athletic director, and broadcaster every Friday, BTN Live through football season. You're going to get to continue that through basketball?
I'm hoping so. I put in my bidding war to get some basketball time. I love the game of basketball, and the Big Ten is exciting when it comes to NCAA basketball season. There's some great teams in the Big Ten, going to be well represented in March. It's going to be tough for one of these teams to win the regular season championship and the BTN tourney, Big Ten tourney.
You also had some coaching today, right?
I did, yes. I coached in the second annual Legacy All-Star game for kids with no Division I offers. So we got after it the last 3 days. Full padded practices, tackle to the ground, broadcast live on Fox Sports Detroit. So it was a great experience for these kids. Hopefully they can leave with some offers.
You got one more win than Jim Harbaugh this weekend?
That is true. That is correct.
All right. Want to welcome Rico Beard, a longtime Detroit radio and TV personality.
You said it, I didn't.
Bex Howard, broadcast instructor, recruiting insider, and most importantly, he is the host of the Spartan Beat, weekdays from noon to 2 on the Spotlight Radio Network. Where did you watch games yesterday?
I was at the sports book in Vegas watching the games. I've never done that before.
Getting rich?
Well, you know what? I woke up too late. That whole time shift got me. I barely got enough time to see the Michigan-Ohio State game. I would have been rich, though, because I told everybody I'm betting on Ohio State.
Yeah.
But it was just, I wasn't coming back for the Rutgers game. You came back, and I'm like, guys, no. You don't deserve my time. I'm sorry. You don't. So
I didn't come back for the Rutgers game. I came back for the high school.
Yeah, you had the high school game, but it's like, you're going to rush back. No, it's like 63, and it's sunny. I'm enjoying life. All the In-N-Out burgers I can eat. No, life was good. I stayed.
We both took the red eye, but it was one day apart. Right. Also want to welcome Sean Belegian, veteran radio host, Detroit and Grand Rapids, and he is the co-host of the Lions game day broadcasts, the Lions radio network, also a very versatile play-by-play voice. How are you, Sean?
Excellent. Pleasure being here with you guys. I mean, exciting time of year, and obviously,
different Sunday for you.
Well, you know what? It was nice to watch some football today and not get ticked off, because there hasn't been a lot of that around here lately. But we'll have a few.
You still get ticked off?
I still get ticked off. I do. You know what? And it's not just.
You told me not to let this happen.
It's not just the guys in the Honolulu blue and silver. It's the guys in the green and white.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about the Lions, but when we come back, we're going to talk about Ohio State 62, Michigan 39 up next.
If you're not well, but it's not an emergency, choose Sparrow Fast Care for things like infections, the flu, allergies, even the common cold.
But if you need x-rays, stitches, or to mend some broken bones, then choose Sparrow Urgent Care.
From Lansing, DeWitt to Okemos,
To East Lansing, Mason, and Grand Ledge, and now open on Michigan Avenue in Lansing.
walk in or check in online at sparrowcares.org. Sparrow Fast Care
and Sparrow Urgent Care.
Healthcare at the speed of life.
Hi, I'm Realtor Brock Fletcher from the selling team with Keller Williams. Mid-Michigan homeowners who sell their homes with us get an average of 98% of their asking price and sell their home in an average of 28 days. Call us today at 517-853-6408.
With the David Chapman Agency, auto owners' insurance policies come with something extra. Who care about you. Our agents will help you find the right coverage at the best price. 3 generations serving you at the David Chapman Agency, your local auto owners insurance agents.
When other dealerships tell you no, Champion says yes.
You see, there's no need to worry about your credit issues because they're in the past. Slow credit, bad credit, no credit, divorce, medical bills, bankruptcy, it doesn't matter because we'll work with you. Act now and take advantage of payments as low as $99 and 0 down. Visit us today. Log on to championrockscredit.com or give us a call at 888-515-9132 at Champion Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
911 all new Monday on Fox. Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
It's that time of year where we give thanks for all that we have. It's also the annual Thanksgiving sale at a Kraft dealership near you. And here's what Hank's giving you right now.
Hank's giving me double the value of my trade-in, up to $5,000.
That's right, Hank's giving everyone double the value of their trade-in, up to $5,000, and choose from these 5 vehicles that are $110 a month or less.
Hurry into the Hank's Giving sale at a Kraft dealership near you. Hey, nice outfit. This whole thing?
You can't beat our fans, the best fans in the land, and they were with us, and they helped us win that game today. You know, that stadium was rocking and rolling, electric, and so much appreciation, more appreciation than ever. We asked them at the Skull Session, when I needed the most, will you give us your very best? And our fans and our student body, who we love to death, gave us their very best.
Well, they played great. Their third quarter especially, I mean, they a lot of speed plays that got out on a perimeter and got loose. Also set them up in good field position with a couple turnovers, and of course the block punt contributed to the score as well.
There you see Urban Meyer, is this not the winning coach? And Jim Harbaugh after yesterday's game in Ohio Stadium. Sean, if my math is correct, Jim Harbaugh is 0-4 against Ohio State. Sure. Urban Meyer is 7-0 against Michigan. The Wolverines still have not won a top road game since 2006, the Big Ten Championship since 2004, and Ohio State has won 14 of the last 15 in this series. I won't call it a rivalry, I'll call it a series. So why were so many people so surprised? I was out in Vegas, and they said that money just kept pouring in on Michigan.
It's amazing. I mean, 2 things. Number one, and you heard Urban say it, and he said it tongue-in-cheek. For a team that had all these problems, you know, their numbers were still there. I mean, this is Michigan. There is something a little extra in the water. I think, to me, the surprise comes from the way they did it, because that was a Michigan team without a clue yesterday. Jack, I remember you and I talked about this both on the radio and television. Last year, I think the national championship defense was an absolute myth because they got lit up by Penn State. They got lit up pretty good by Ohio State and Wisconsin as well. Really, the only good team that they beat where they had a sound defensive effort was the game against Michigan State. This year, they were exposed, in my opinion, in the 2 teams against really good teams. The Notre Dame game and obviously against Ohio State. Now, again, not to the tune of 62 points. I mean, 61 asterisks, if you will. But they kind of were exposed. We talked about this last year. The Don Brown myth has been blown up a couple times in the last couple of years.
Sean, if you really were looking at it, while they were laughing because Ohio State was struggling against Maryland, Indiana said, Ohio State, we don't have your athletes, but here's the playbook. Here's how you beat Michigan. Yep. So it was just that easy. If you looked at the Indiana game, you should have known this was coming.
Darian, home or away, underdog or favorite, some things never seem to change. Why can't Michigan beat Ohio State? And what happened to Don Brown's defense? We thought he had invented defensive football. Didn't look like it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we think that, and he poo-poos at Michigan State's defense that's also reciprocated by Ohio State. You know, essentially runs the same thing. Ohio State essentially took Narduzzi's blueprint and uses it for their well-being, and it works out for them and works out for Michigan State too. But in terms of Michigan going against Ohio State, it's just a mentality, and it's all mental. And honestly, it's the reason why Michigan was able to beat Michigan State, I believe, this year. they got over that mental hump. They look different as in terms of the mental aspect of the game. But against Ohio State, it was the same old song once again. And as we've said, the numbers have been there for Ohio State. For all we're saying they're the worst one-loss team in the country, the numbers are there. Dwayne Haskins just broke every single QB record imaginable. So the numbers were there. It looked a little different coming from Ohio State, but it was still an Ohio State performance right there.
And Ohio State again had one of those games. Last year was Iowa. This year it was Purdue. Rico, how should we look at these 2018 Michigan Wolverines and this revenge tour that came to a crashing halt?
I mean, well, I think Michigan found out it's hard to get to Indianapolis. You can't take a week off.
It's an easy trip. I can give them the map.
Yeah, well, they're still applying for their passport to get there. Here's the thing. All they had to do was beat Ohio State. If you want to win the Big Ten East, all roads go through Columbus. That's not me exaggerating. The years that Michigan State and Penn State have gone, they defeated Ohio State. This Michigan team, Jack, they were celebrating too early. I'm sorry. They won at Michigan State. We got this revenge tour. But guys,
they guaranteed a victory. No.
They did, and it didn't go too well for them. So we'll just do that. Rest in peace. All right.
I think that's a penalty for grabbing the face.
I'm just saying, Jack. They thought that this thing was easy. They thought it was over, and I don't think they respected Ohio State. I think that they listened to everybody saying this is a bad Ohio State team. They had one loss, but we compared Ohio State to Ohio State, and that's why they look bad. If Ohio State were anybody else, we'd say this is a good team. But it was Ohio State, and because of that, I think the Wolverines bought into that.
Did Jim Harbaugh get out coached?
Yes.
Don?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Hard to find anybody today who doesn't think that, who wasn't working in Schembechler Hall. We will be back, and another team that struggled yesterday got the W, got out alive, but a lot of things to worry about. Michigan State against Rutgers. We'll be back with our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet.
The Knapp Center is a historical hub for future business growth in beautiful downtown Lansing.
The Ide Company did the best they could to preserve the integrity of the history of this building while incorporating a modern, open workspace.
They have been prompt, they have been efficient, and they really are a friendly, great group of people that we don't have any concerns about calling them for any of our needs.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Ride with Chicago PD, weekdays at noon on My 47.4.
Welcome to Russell and Schrader Insurance. Hastings Mutual is a trusted partner of ours. Call Joe Daly for a Hastings Mutual insurance quote. They are hard to beat. Call Steve Keisch today. From business to farms, Hastings Mutual will protect your best assets.
If you're considering new windows for your home, here's an important message from Wallside. Wallside is closing out 2018 with this incredible offer, an extra 18% off. Buy one Wallside window, get one free. Buy 6, get 6 free. Do your entire home for half the price. Then take an extra 18% off for cash, or 5 years, no interest. This sale is for a very limited time. 1-800-521-7800.
With a certificate from MSU Federal Credit Union, your financial goals will be within your reach. You can open your certificate with as little as $50. MSU Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graff Chevrolet, a trusted friend with 104 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River in Okemos. They'll take great care of you as they have on all 6 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graff.
Hats off to Michigan State. Played a heck of a game, and it was a battle of field position tonight, and they won it at the end. Had some missed opportunities, some critical penalties that obviously cost us in that game, but couldn't be more pleased in the attitude and the effort and the fight that our team put forth. And
that is Rutgers coach Chris Ash. So close. Rico, we always hear there's no such thing as a moral victory and no such thing as a bad loss. Why does it seem like a loss to so many people? 1-11 Rutgers now, and nearly got it done at Spartan Stadium.
You know what, Jack? I said that, but I do think that this is the exception. Every rule has an exception. This was a bad win for Michigan State. Because it was Rutgers, because it was a team that they were at least supposed to look good and give the fans something to say, okay, maybe they don't stink. Maybe the offense can score. And they couldn't. Rocky Lombardi's the future. He didn't look good. Jack, when you saw this, you immediately said, there's no way in the world you should be able to play Rutgers and have your offensive statistics drop from 113. I don't know where they're at now, but there's only 129 spots. I'm thinking they're getting close to the bottom. This team can't score points. I don't know what the problem is. And I don't even know if the coaches really see the seriousness. You have the talent, but your system is too antiquated. You're not getting points.
4 touchdowns in the 5 losses. What does that say, Darian?
It says something's got to change, and I've said it numerous times on numerous occasions. I appreciate the players trying to take it upon themselves to say that, hey, we got to go out there, we got to make plays, and they did essentially when it mattered. Cody White comes around on a reverse, scores a winning touchdown. Josiah Scott gets a game-clinching interception. So they made the plays when it counted, and they're saying all the right things. And I believe that's what keeps a family close. It's what keeps a team together, and it's important. But going to this bowl game, depending on who you play, I know projections are always, you never know. You play a team like Oregon or a team that you know can score, you're going to have to be able to keep up.
Sean, we have seen some struggles on offense over the years. In fact, the last 6 years, Michigan State has only finished in the top 70 in offense. One time they were number 11 in 2014. When you look at this team, does it make you wonder what the Spartans might have accomplished if the offense was anywhere close to as good as the defense?
This was 2012 light to me. And what I mean by that is in 2012, there were literally a handful of games that if you get a little bit more that year, you're talking about a team that wins 10 or 11 games. Now, for me this year, there are 2 or 3 that I'd put the circle around. I think you have to say Arizona State for sure. You look at that one. I could even say the Northwestern game. You could flip that game easily if you just had a little bit. So that's the frustrating thing about that. Now, with that being said, with so many guys coming back, that defense coming back, boy, does next year shape up to be, dare I say, 2013?
No, it looks like to me,
I mean, honestly,
it looks like the Michigan team this year. Last year they won 8 games, had all kinds of quarterback problems, terrible offensive line play, but a great defense. Looks like what Michigan State might become.
Yeah, we thought that. 19 returning starters. This was the year. It's like all the experience that they have. And then one wheel came off and another wheel came off. And now we're trying to say, how do you pronounce this 4-string punter's name? Who is this guy?
Well, the problem is when you're using your 5th punter of the year, that explains Michigan State's problems in a nutshell. You just can't. I've never seen anything like this. I've been watching Michigan State football since 1969.
Yeah, I haven't either. I've never seen a season like this, and that's why it took me all the way till like week 10, week 11 to finally say, okay, let's talk a little bit about the injuries. I mean, at some point that has to come into play, but the way Michigan State flows in terms of all sports, maybe it's something kind of like basketball. We don't know how this season's going to end on the hardwood, but we thought last year was the year. But this team's, this year's team under Izzo might be a little better than last year. Maybe next year for Coach D might be a little bit of the same.
Despite Mark D'Antonio asking for people to turn out, a lot of empty seats for a reason, this group leaving 5 years, 43-21 with the banquet today. A lot of reasons to salute them, but a lot of work still to be done. We'll be right back with the big picture up next.
I've lost 2 homes in my lifetime. Both times, my independent agent and auto owners took care of me like someone takes care of family.
The Holton Dimondale Insurance Agency. Call your hometown team today.
There's something out there for you and me, and the American road is calling, so what's it gonna be? Hey, it's an amazing day, traveling our own highway. No matter where it leads us, we can smile, 'cause there's meaning in the miles.
Catch the savings at Capital Honda. New 2018 Honda Accord LX, just $249 a month. Or new 2018 Honda Civic LX, only $169 a month. Just like your favorite team does it, we're going all out because you should be driving a Honda from Capital Honda.
Watch Live PD Police Patrol weeknights at 10 on My 47.4.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailways Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
It's the most wonderful 911 fall finale with a surprise you never saw coming. All new 911 Monday on Fox.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways to Northern Michigan and Chicago, where Doug Warren and I were in August for the NFL Legends Classic. That's Dean Trailways, your favorite ride. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron gets the Gatorade bath. A winning coach, but wait a minute, 29 seconds to go, and Texas A&M has the ball back, and now a play started with less than a second left, sends it into overtime. Actually 2, 3, 4. I feel like LeBron James counting, right? Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. Actually, this game went 7 overtimes, and after the Gatorade bath, Ed Orgeron's defense gave up another 50 points. It was 31-24. His team wound up losing that game 74-72. Darian Harris, can you imagine playing 7 overtimes?
No, not in a million years. I mean, that's a basketball score, obviously. It's one of those games where the only people that saw the end of that game were in that stadium. I mean, there's no way I was staying up for the rest of that game. I mean, it's one of those things that'll go down in history.
Ties the most overtimes in NCAA history.
Exactly. So it'll be a historic game. That's just the football gods and bad karma getting on those players right there for LSU. I mean, you don't do that. I mean, that's just, you should know right now, those players had to have seen enough replays and historic moments to know that the game isn't over until it's over. So that's definitely on them right there, making that happen.
So they thought they had it. I thought it was ironic. I'm like, wow. In a day when the 2 football teams played, the 2 basketball teams played, Texas A&M and LSU played, because I saw the score in the airport, and I'm like, football? What? 7 overtimes?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Well, you've been on the delivery end of some Gatorade baths, probably, and you think about that. Is there ever a time when you say, nah, it's just a little too early?
Yeah, but before the game's over, before the confetti's falling, before we're running across to shake hands or run to the stands, I mean, it honestly would be like, you know, Michigan dousing Harbaugh before the 10-second play. I mean, you don't do that until the end of the game. I don't care what you think may happen. You just never know in football. That's just the type of game it is.
Someone said that was the only thing missing from October 17th, 2015, was that Jim Harbaugh had gotten a Gatorade bath just before that ball was snapped to Blake. I won't go there. All right. Rico, Notre Dame had a tough time early in the Coliseum, came back and beat USC last night and punched its ticket in the college football playoff. Congratulations to the Irish. No championship game, but 12-0. Maybe the only team that is a lock, although some would say Alabama would have to lose by 5 touchdowns not to be in it. Can you fill out the rest of the field for the 5th college football playoff?
I can, but thank you, Notre Dame, for screwing up my 14 parlay. I thought you would cover, and you didn't. But they're in. Notre Dame is in. Alabama's in, minus a bus accident. They're in. Even if they lose, they're in. Clemson in. I don't think that they're going to lose to Pittsburgh. The 4th spot, that's where the intrigue is going to come up. When they do the show, they're probably going to show the first 3 teams because it's the 4th spot. Right now, I would probably lean and say I thought it was Oklahoma, but because what Ohio State did on the national stage with game day and with every person out there saying why Michigan was the best team ever, and they destroyed them, took a knee at the 5. They could have put a 70-point beatdown on them. They could have scored 70, and they didn't.
Still lost by 29 points.
They lost by 29 points, but college football is based on of what you've done in the past 15 years and what have you done last week.
Oklahoma's had a pretty good 15 years.
They have, but you shut down the #1 defense. You scored 62 points on the #1 defense. Don Brown. You say that name, you hold your head down when you say Don Brown.
Actually, Ohio State did that despite one of the worst kickoff returns in history.
Ever.
Giving Michigan 2
touchdowns.
Why didn't you just let it go into the end zone?
Just about 74-30.
Ohio State also had well over 100 yards in penalties, so they actually made the game a little closer.
I like Oklahoma, but I think Ohio State may have a better shot at this. At least
you don't think
as
it matters
right
that certain conferences have been left out before?
No.
None of that matters. So.
You know, and it's funny going back to when Ohio State won it all in 2014. Do you know what people conveniently forgot? How thoroughly whooped they were by Virginia Tech at home early in the season. So to your point, Rico, I agree. I think people in college football forget what happened even a month ago, let alone a couple months ago.
Yeah. And we have one new team, Notre Dame, breaking into the club, of which Darien Spartans are a member. Sean, why is it so hard for a team to get into the Football 4?
You know what? I think it goes back to something that Rico said earlier. The college football landscape has changed forever. 85 across the board really changed things. I mean, in the area that we grew up with, it's not the case. Now, today, for the amount of time somebody says they're going to dominate, it doesn't happen anymore. Not in conference, not otherwise. You stub your toe, that can cost you.
We'll talk about a team that dominated. Michigan State dominated UCLA and then came back with a big win over Texas. We'll talk about MSU basketball and the Las Vegas Invitational up next.
It's that time of year where we give thanks for all that we have. It's also the annual Hanksgiving sale at a Graf dealership near you. And here's what Hank's giving you right now.
Hank's giving us double the value of our trade.
Up to $5,000.
That's right, Hank's giving everyone double the value of their trade-in up to $5,000 and choose from these 5 vehicles that are $110 a month or less.
Hurry into the Hanksgiving sale at a Graf dealership near you. Hey, nice outfit. This whole thing?
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
Working with the Ide Company, 1, is very easy to do. 2, they're very responsive to our needs. And 3, as we've grown as a company, they've listened to those needs and they've helped us plan out our future in terms of growth that needs to be done at this location.
It's just comforting to know I'm working with the Ide Company, knowing that they can accommodate our growth. In that way, they're an excellent partner.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
Friday's #1 new comedy, The Cool Kids. Fridays on Fox.
American Metal Roofs. Can we use your home in our advertising? Qualified homes can save big. And this month, veterans can take an extra $500 discount. Call American Metal Roofs today or visit
AmericanMetalRoofs.com.
Welcome to Central.
When it comes to milk, Fairlife is ultra-filtered for 50% more protein and 50% less sugar. It's an oh-so-good, one-of-a-kind kind of milk. Fairlife.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for another Going Green segment brought to you by Graff Chevrolet, a trusted friend 104 years in the automobile business. Stop see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River and Okemos. They're offering double your trade, up to $5,000.
The whole time we kept saying that, you know, we've been down before. You see with Northwestern last year, and you know, it's just a fight. It shows a lot about the type of character that we have as players, and the chemistry that we have as a team to be able to come back from being that much down to against such a great team. It's a great team. We're going to go far. So it's just great to see that.
That's a bad man right there. He just scored the ball a lot and scored in volume. So once he gets high, I'm scared for the other team.
Did they pick the right MVP?
No, definitely not. You seen tonight, right? You seen that game. He won us that game. He put the team on his back tonight.
There you see Joshua Langford and Cassius Winston having a little bit of an argument. Each one thought the other one should have been the MVP. Rico, you were seated next to me at Orleans Arena when Spartans went down so big, so early against Texas. How did they get out of that hole?
Well, they didn't panic. I think they went to the senior leadership and the upperclassmen, the juniors, and said, "You guys, we've been here before." Yeah. I think a younger Michigan State team collapses, and we saw that in the past. Yeah. But this team said, "Okay, it's early in the game. They hit us with their best shot. Now let's see if they can reload." And Michigan State patiently, as I told you, if they can get this under 10 points by halftime, they're still in this game. And then all of a sudden, Texas, you saw, was just tired. They expended all their energy early, and Langford and Cassius just lit it up from the outside. Yeah. They were on fire. At that point, Texas had nothing. They couldn't do anything with that shooting.
It's amazing, Darian, what can happen if you keep shooting over 50% from deep?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a little bit of the Beeline effect right now. This team's got shooters this year. They got guys that are confident in their shot. It's a different Joshua Langford, obviously. I mean, the number will speak for itself. You don't have to say that. He's confident with that outside shot. We already knew Cassius could shoot very well. And McQuaid's knocking down a jumper as well. It's going to bode very well for the Spartans.
Rico, when you think about this backcourt, how good can it be?
I think the backcourt can be very good, Jack. But the only problem is they rely a lot on jump shots. Now, here's what I do like about, the freshman coming in, the kid from Indianapolis.
Aaron Henry.
Henry comes, he drives the lane. Yeah. And that's the one thing that
was missing.
Yeah, because everybody was just settling on jump shots. But then all of a sudden, Aaron Henry will come, pump fake, drive to the lane. He sparked that team against Texas. He comes off the bench, McQuaid goes down, and all of a sudden the team is like, okay, he opened up the lane, and then everything got easier for them.
Sean, we saw Nick Ward have 2 good games. Kenny Goins, big rebounding effort against UCLA, Matt McQuaid. And Aaron Henry really came in and changed things, as Rico said, against Texas. Everyone wants to know about Tom Izzo's rotation. Who's going to be in the rotation? Who's going to be out of the rotation? This guy should have redshirted. Can a team ever have too much depth?
No, they can't. And you know what I loved? I want to go back to something that Rico said. I think that's a game that they lose 9 times out of 10. And they looked so bad against Texas. I mean, they really did. That was as bad as I've seen them look. Listen, this is a team that I hope they learn lessons like that, because whether people want to admit it or not, you know what's fresh in the heads of a lot of Spartan fans? Middle Tennessee State, Kansas, and that debacle against Syracuse. This is a team that's going to write its story come Big Ten tournament time and come the tournament. They have some hard lessons to learn to make sure those type of efforts don't come again. But Rico, you're as close as anybody else. You know as well as I do. Even with the credit line that Tom Izzo has, I think after those 3 losses in particular, people are saying, we want a deep run, and it has to happen now.
Oh, it has to. And I think they drew on that Kansas game down big and found a way to make it a game in the final seconds of the game. They didn't quit, and you saw that not quitting.
Absolutely. And Cassius Winston said, hey, you know, last year we were down 27 Northwestern. So they've been in this boat before. Darian, does an event like the Las Vegas Invitational affect this team? Now you've got Louisville in the ACC Big Ten shootout. You got a couple of Big Ten games very early at Rutgers and then against a pretty good Iowa team. And then you go on the road to Florida. How does the success of Thanksgiving weekend affect that?
Well, I think it's the games that they had against the teams they had and the way they won the games. I mean, we've seen this team win the PK 80 before, so they've won these early season tournaments, and it hasn't necessarily translated to the rest of the year. But you get a UCLA team with length and with height, and you could tell that, I mean, there was a size difference, but Kenny Goins getting the rebounds, you're able to take it to the freshmen, the 7'3" freshman they have, UCLA has. And then against Texas, you're down early, you're able to make a comeback. These are lessons you can learn and take with you for the rest of the season. So I think that because of the teams they played and the way they won, it'll help a lot for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think even last year's success, PK 80, helped them win a Big Ten regular season title. It was a couple of games. Now that didn't translate to.
But see, the PK 80 was easy because they kind of blew through everybody. I think that Kansas game is going to prove to be a lot bigger because that team could have, Jack, they could have quit. You were there. They could have just let it go, and they didn't. They made it a game.
Talking about blowing through everybody, we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions coming up. And another Thanksgiving Day loss, this time to the Chicago Bears. We'll be back with that coming up next on Press Pass.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better like the world's best pizza, Jets Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now, enjoy our Deep Dish Duo, a delicious small one-topping Detroit-style pizza plus deep dish bread, just $11.99. Jets, better because it has to be.
When other dealerships tell you no, Champion says yes.
You see, there's no need to worry about your credit issues because they're in the past. Slow credit, bad credit, no credit, divorce, medical bills, bankruptcy, it doesn't matter because we'll work with you. Act now and take advantage of payments as low as $99 and $0 down. Visit us today. Log on to championrockscredit.com or give us a call at 888-515-9132 at Champion Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, Inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration. These are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
The hunt for a mob hitman.
Fabrizio. How dangerous could he be?
Goes prime time.
What are the odds that you're on TV right now?
How do I look?
Lethal Weapon. All new Tuesday on Fox.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Law of the Jungle segment. Brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. I'm talking about chicken shawarma with baked breast meat and hummus made fresh in a 3-day process. That's why I'm there every week. Though Woody's items are now available at Tom's Foods, Horrocks, and other local grocers.
Obviously not the way we wanted that thing to end. So, it's a good team over there. Chicago, they've done a good job all year. Obviously played us tough all the way to the end and made some plays when they needed to at the end, which were critical for their football team. And, we didn't. So we got to get back at it and go back to work. So we got a lot to do, a lot to improve on, and things that we're continually trying to get better at. So it's really, it's not a lot of time to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. We got, one of the best teams in the NFL coming in here next week. So we got to get it fixed, got to get it corrected, and we got to get back out there and go compete. So it's just where we're at.
That is Lions rookie head coach, Matt Patricia. Hope his team develops some respect for the Thanksgiving Day traditions in Detroit. Sean Belegian, you know as much about the Lions as any media person who's ever been on this show. Is Matt Patricia in danger of being one and done as a Lions head coach? And what happened to the Matthew Stafford who used to engineer fourth quarter comebacks, not hand the games to the opponent?
I think that both Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn are looking at this as being more than 1 year fix. So I think unless the bottom absolutely dropped out, I wouldn't think about being a one and done. This is something that Bob Quinn himself has said, hey, listen, we're close, but we still have some work to do. And that starts with personnel. In regards to your question about Matthew Stafford, I don't know what happened to Matthew Stafford, and I don't know what happened to Jim Bob Cooter. I think what made a lot of people kind of wrap their arms around Jim Bob Cooter was the, hey, let's just throw caution to the wind ideals that he came out with in the 2015 season when the Lions were already dead and buried. And it's easy to throw caution to the wind and open things up. But since then, I think other than maybe the Miami game where they switched things up and showed some different looks, it's a really bad and strange offensive play calling system. And I need to say this again, that interception on Thanksgiving, the pick six, was such an atrocious throw. I think that Matthew's getting hammered for the interception in the end zone. I don't think that's particularly fair. I think that's more on the tight end than people want to admit. But that interception was awful. You
Eddie
can't
Jackson
do
looked
that.
like Lawrence Taylor.
Can't do
in
it.
that
That's
game
exactly
Thanksgiving
it. Can't
Day.
do it.
Yeah.
And you see it from the bird's eye view. It's easy for us to say that. I'm sure as a player, Darren, you in particular, go, oh, it's easy for you to say you're on the 7th floor. But you saw it plain as day. Literally, people are going, no, oh, he did. I mean, and really, you can't have that at that juncture of the game.
Jackson was Deion Sanders, the way he just baited him right into
absolutely. Absolutely.
Darian, despite Detroit's 4-game Thanksgiving winning streak from 2013 to 16, they are 5-13 on Turkey Day since 2001. What does Patricia have to do to change that and fix this team?
I'm not sure if there's much to change it. Obviously, growing up as a Cowboys fan, I paid very close attention to the Thanksgiving Day games.
Yeah.
And, when you're a kid and you're trying to figure it out and it's cool to see your team playing on Thanksgiving, they got different jerseys on. I honestly thought the Cowboys won every Thanksgiving. I thought it was like set in stone. And then you realize as you get older, it's just a football game. It's a football game played on a Thursday. There's no difference. So I understand tradition. I understand, you're getting the home game. It's something that's, a pastime for Detroit, but it's not going to guarantee a win every single year. Now, this new kind of situation with playing a division game every year, if that continues, then yeah, you got to look at that day as a must-win type of game, as it was on Thursday going against the Chicago Bears. So I think you got to look at it as that more so than just the quote-unquote Thanksgiving game.
I told someone the Lions have 3 very prominent traditions now. One is Thanksgiving Day football at 12:30. One is not winning playoff games. And the other one is having great players who retire and say, where did my career go? We've seen all 3 of those in Detroit. Rico, would you rather see different teams on Thanksgiving Day, or have Detroit and Dallas earned the right to have these games?
You know what? For years, growing up as a kid, you watch the Cowboys, I would watch the Lions, and I always thought the Lions lost. I mean, I lost my football virginity watching the Lions lose to the Bears in 1980 when they ran the overtime kickoff back, and I cried, and I was told, you better get used to this, because this happens a lot. But here's the thing. I've often said, why do the Lions hold the nation hostage every year and force them to watch that game? But they've been doing it for so long. It is a tradition. I think that Detroit and Dallas should keep it. I like what the NFL is doing for the teams that complain. We'll rotate you guys in for the night game. But they've earned this. Whether they win or lose, they took a chance and did this when nobody else wanted to do it, so now it's theirs. And unless they opt out, no, Lions and Detroit should keep it. I mean, the Lions and Dallas should keep it. Anything to the idea that the Lions should play on Thanksgiving because they've had more turkeys than any other team? Just a thought. I'd like to see the Lions and Dallas maybe play each other.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, wouldn't that be
funny?
something?
Yeah.
They worked that one out. Interesting idea. We will be right back, and we're going to have our Take It to the Bank segment. A lot of guarantees and predictions, not from Karan Higdon. Coming up next here on Press Pass.
You eat healthy, take statins, but still struggle to lower your LDL bad cholesterol. You also have heart disease and fear a heart attack or stroke could strike without warning, pulling you away from everything you love. Because with high LDL, your risk of a heart attack or stroke is real. Now you can reduce that risk with Repatha. Repatha plus a statin dramatically lowers your LDL bad cholesterol by 63% and is proven to significantly drop your risk of having a devastating heart attack or stroke.
Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha may cause serious allergic reactions. Signs include redness, severe rash or itching, swollen face, or trouble breathing. Most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
Don't let a heart attack or stroke come between you and everything you love. Tell your doctor you're ready to lower your LDL and reduce your risk for real with Repatha.
Pay no more than $5 per month with the Repatha copay card.
Catch Dateline weeknights at 11 on My 47.4.
You're up. There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Touchdown, Champions!
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we have a taste for adventure because the only way to know how good something can be is to go for it. Try our veggie smoothies, Island Green, made with spinach, kale, pineapple, banana, and mango. And Caribbean Sea Burst with carrots, mango, banana, orange, and goji. Adventure begins with never knowing until you try, but always expecting something great. Go for a veggie smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most. Here you see the teams that have been to Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game, and if you count them up, there are 7. A lot of powerful teams over there. And you see the 7 teams that have never been to Indianapolis.
Group of also-rans over there, huh?
Well, you see Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, and I might have left one out there. But those are teams that have never been to Lucas Oil Stadium without a ticket. You look at the teams that have made it there. Wisconsin 5 times. This will be number 4 for Ohio State, 3 for Michigan State, and 1 each for Nebraska, Iowa, Penn State, and the newbie, Northwestern.
Jack, if you would have went back in time, I would have said you would have probably swapped Northwestern and Michigan. Nobody would believe that stat 7 years ago. Like, hey, take a look at this. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we need to make some predictions, some guarantees about this week's Big Ten championship game. Darian, is Urban Meyer destined to win for the 3rd time in Lucas Oil Stadium? That would be 1 more than anyone else. And should all Spartans be saying, "Go Cats"?
I'm not sure if it's destiny. I think they're going to win. I mean, I'm assuming that the spread right now is probably the biggest in Big Ten championship game history, as it should be. And this is a game that Ohio State is probably going to win. And it's a fantastic story for Northwestern. And I assume that they will be back. They might even be back as soon as next year as Pat Fitzgerald continues to build this. But it's just not their time yet. So, yeah, Ohio State's going to get this win. I don't know if it's destiny necessarily. It would have been destiny, I think, if Michigan was able to get there. But they didn't take care of business. And will all Spartans now be saying, "Go Cats"? Absolutely. We were saying, "Go Buckeyes" a few days ago. Now we're going to switch our allegiance and put on our purple. That's just how rivalries go, as it should be. That's how you should want it to be.
Rico, Northwestern lost 20-17 to a Michigan team that was favored to win in Ohio Stadium. What chance do they have? What would you do if you were Pat Fitzgerald?
I would just simply say, guys, we got nothing to lose. Nobody's predicting us to win. Let's play relaxed. If we lose this game, we lose this game. Let's not go out here. Let's not be conservative. Let's, onside the opening kickoff. Let's just throw the ball down deep. Let's do things that nobody has seen us do. And if it works, great. We'll shock the world. And if it doesn't, we gave it our best shot. If you're Pat Fitzgerald, don't go out there and play conservative and play Ohio State football. Just go out there and just leave it all on the field. And if you lose with pride and dignity.
A lot of respect for Fitz, because I think what's happened in the past few years is he hasn't been rewarded for some pretty darn good seasons, double-digit win seasons. And Jack, I know you and I have talked about this before. Yeah. I always laugh how certain fan bases are apt to call others fraud in this conference. Well, they're doing things that you aren't doing, so maybe, just maybe, they're doing something right. So this wasn't his best team, but things worked out for him, and so I'm happy for him.
I remember saying to Steve Grinzel one time that, hey, if Northwestern ever went to the Rose Bowl, you could have my house. My house isn't worth that much, but this could be the 4th Big Ten championship for Northwestern since 1995. When you think about that, that's with 3 different coaches. You got Gary Barnett, Randy Walker. Now, if Pat Fitzgerald can pull this off with the budget they have, you know how difficult it is, academic restrictions, a lot of things. It says a lot about what Northwestern has done. Sean, should Ohio State clobber Northwestern, try to get style points the way they did against Wisconsin? Do they need to do that to make the playoff?
I think that they do. I think the margin right now is this much, but I think Ohio State is ahead of Oklahoma as well, Rico. I think Ohio State would like to go like this with a big win.
We know Oklahoma's going to score some points against Texas. We'll be right back with our Cool and Smooth segment coming.
It's that time of year where we give thanks for all that we have. It's also the annual Hanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. And here's what Hank's giving you right now.
Hank's giving me double the value of my trade-in, up to $5,000.
That's right, Hank's giving everyone double the value of their trade-in, up to $5,000, and choose from these 5 vehicles that are $110 a month or less.
Hurry into the Hanksgiving sale at a craft dealership near you. Hey, nice outfit. This whole thing?
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
10 years after being proven innocent, I now defend the wrongfully convicted.
Congratulations, you're a free man.
You're our best asset. I honestly thought you were guilty. In fact, I still do.
We're gonna get you the hell out of here.
We're warriors for the innocent.
When someone goes to prison for a murder they didn't commit, it means the real murderer is still out there.
Proven Innocent, coming this February to Fox.
Catch Access Hollywood weeknights at 7:30 on My 47.4.
Those who reach for a better world will be those who understand how to shape it, who experiment and adapt, who redefine what's possible. We are the ones who rise, who reach for what's better. And by moving into this better world together, we at CMU redefine what it means to be exceptional. Put your stamp on the world.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by the 5 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious butter burgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to delicious. Here you see Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh after the game.
Poor Harbs. Oh.
Rico, I put that up there for you, and you had exactly the reaction I wanted. I do want to say Tom Crawford was going to be here tonight, wanted to be here tonight. He didn't bail because Michigan lost. His dog passed away late this afternoon, and condolences go out to him, and he'll be back on the radio to Drive with Jack and Tom this week. All right, Team 270, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week? Rico Beard, let's start with you in our play of the week.
Play of the week, there's so many things that could go on. I could have gone from the Vegas tournament with Michigan State basketball with some of Langford's threes that he was hitting. Cassius won the MVP. We talked about in the break the Cincinnati tight end body surfing into the end zone, rugby style. He jumps from the 5, and they picked him up and they carried him in. But I'm going to talk about, I think, the play that broke the back of the Wolverines when freshman Chris Olave comes through and blocks the punt. It goes up in the air, and another freshman, Seven Banks, his real name is Seven, folks. Seven Banks catches it out of the air, scores, puts Ohio State up 34-19. At that point, that was ball game to me. That was Ohio State saying, we are now going to crush you, Michigan. Yeah. You shouldn't have come here saying that you were going to beat us, this revenge tour. Haskin comes out at the end of the game and says, we didn't need a revenge tour to beat them. So they knew about it, but yeah, that play right there, 2 freshmen. Yeah. So that they got indoctrinated into the game real fast.
One of the greatest stunts I've ever seen on a punt block, where the guy came all the way down and still came through up the middle. Sean Belegian, what about our game of the week?
Well, did you ever see Braveheart? Remember when they put William Wallace in the rack? Yeah. Michigan went in the rack yesterday. I mean, they really did, and they churned it up. 62 points. My goodness gracious, for a defense that people thought was a national championship caliber. Doesn't get any better than that. Ohio State's win over Michigan State, game of the week.
What does it say that the Rams win over the Chiefs on Monday night? Maybe one of the greatest NFL games in regular season history. And the 7 overtime game, Ohio State, Michigan tops that. All right. What about our team of the week? Darian Harris, what do you have for us?
I got 2. First, the Purdue Boilermakers, and second, the Minnesota Golden Gophers for the same reason, getting the 6th win, making it to the bowl season, being bowl eligible. I, for one, think there's too many bowl games. I think it rewards mediocrity, dare I say that. However, it is great money grabs for the school. It is great for the schools to have something to strive for, and for these programs that are trying to establish a culture. Purdue trying to do that in the West, Minnesota as well with P.J. Fleck. Getting to a bowl game is big time, because if not, we wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't talk about Maryland missing out on it by a game and things of that nature.
And so it helped Michigan State 6-6 in 2012.
Exactly, and I remember beating Minnesota for the final game and how big that was. So it is huge for these schools, and I believe that I heard that locks up all the Big Ten spots in the bowl games. Okay. All 9, I believe, was what I heard. So
that was the fastest I've ever seen the Gophers run to go across and get that axe. They were determined. They were going to get that thing, and P.J. Fleck very happy. I have 2 things I want to say for Player of the Week. I want to give a shout out to Herb Brogan in his 39th year as head coach at Jackson Lumen Christi, 3rd straight state championship, Division 6, the 11th for the school. And how about Kenny Willekes? Not only is he the Michigan State MVP, the Governor's Award, He leads the Big Ten in tackles for loss with 20.5, 76 tackles overall. That leads all Big Ten defensive linemen. Terrific for a walk-on. Want to thank Sean Balegian for being with us. Sean, always love it when you can be here. Rico Beard, thanks for taking that red eye and getting back. Darian Harris, I hope they put you on BTN Live all winter.
Yes.
Give us another reason to watch. Tom Crawford will be back with us next week, I promise. Have a great week, everyone.